Good morning. Welcome to Light Embassy. This morning's message is captioned Alone to God. Alone to God. And the theme scripture is taken from the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17. I'm reading from the King James Version. Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given, he will repay him again. Please, again. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given, he will repay him again. There is such we call a giving for God, a giving on behalf of God. When you give or help out the poor, the widow or orphan, you are giving on behalf of God. And wisdom says, that which he hath given, he will repay him again. God will repay back the loan, but he is too big to repay back with the same amount. One has to understand that the scripture above isn't talking about Christians. Actually, Solomon made that statement long ago before the Christian came on the scene. The scripture is not even limited to the Jews. It applies to anyone in the world. Anyone in this world who helps the poor will have the blessing of the above scripture. It's very important as a Christian you understand that. You have to understand that there are certain laws and principles God has set in creation that you don't have to be a Christian for it to work for you. It's the lack of understanding of some of these things that Christians are not able to explain certain things in life. For instance, you may see an unbeliever having so much wealth acquired legally. We are talking about wealth acquired legally. There are many unbelievers who have so much money and they acquired that money legally. There are some multi-millionaires and they acquired the money legally. I'm not talking about drug dealers and armed robbers and those cheats and all. I'm talking about unbelievers who do genuine business and they amass a lot of wealth and they got it legally. Yes, there are many like that. Sometimes it's because some of such people help the poor or widow and also the stranger. Wait a minute here, Rales. Are you sure? Let's observe the scripture below. When you read Acts chapter 10 from verse 1 to 4, scripture says, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. He saw in a vision, evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of God coming in to him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thy alms are come up for a memorial before God. Acts chapter 10, I guess, from verse 1 to 4. This Cornelius, though he feared God, wasn't saved at this time. Yes, he was not saved at this time because it's after even the encounter with this angel that the angel instructed him on what to do to be saved. He said, Go, call for Simon Peter. Right? At that time, Peter had come to Joppa and was resident in the house of one called Simon. But this Cornelius, though he feared God, wasn't saved at this time. He was also not a Jew. He did well to the Jewish people but wasn't himself a Jew. Yet still God acknowledged his alms. The angel says that his alms had come for a memorial before God. A memorial before God. God acknowledged the alms of the centurion Cornelius, even though he was not a Christian, even though he was not also a Jew. Do you think God will acknowledge the alms of unbelievers, which they give to many, including poor Christians? Emphatically, yes. This is just by the way, but I want to bring your mind on the fact that Cornelius wasn't born again at that time, but yet saw a vision of an angel. This shouldn't surprise you, for Nebuchadnezzar even got visions from God. This is to let you know that every Christian, including even non-Christians, can have visions from God. When it comes to you, the Christian, giving to the poor shouldn't be seen as a loan to God. You have become his co-partner in the work of righteousness. It's you using God's resources aright, using them for what they should be used for. And as you do that, it gives you access to more of the kingdom resources, so you abound in this good work of righteousness. In these times of the pandemic, there are many poor people suffering, especially those in countries where there have been lockdowns. What have you done about it as a Christian? Nothing is little. Do what you can afford. With God, it's not about amount, it's about the heart. God bless you.